But first off, I'd like to start by thanking all of you for coming today and listening to my speech. What I'm going to talk about today is myself and speech-giving abilities, my strengths and weaknesses, and what I can do to improve those abilities. I have some experience giving speeches, both in my time as a juvenile corrections officer in California for El Dorado County, and since I joined the Army as a combat medic. It's extremely important to be able to talk well as an Army medic, and I'll get into more about that in a minute. I do have some weaknesses as a speaker, one of which is I gesture far too much, and I procrastinate horribly, so I end up going into a speech ill-prepared. And at the end, I'll wrap up by talking about what I can do to improve my speech-giving abilities. So in my time prior to joining the Army, as a juvenile corrections officer in California, I spent about 5 or 6 years working in juvenile institutions with juveniles with a population of 30 to 40 kids at any given time. And standing in front of a group of 30 to 40 juvenile criminals, you have to speak with confidence, and you have to be able to get your message across very clearly. So in my years there, I developed the confidence to be able to stand in front of a large group of people and the ability to be very clear in what I was saying to them and make sure that they understood what I needed them to understand. After quitting the probation department and working with juveniles, I joined the Army, and I've spent the last 2 years as an Army combat medic. In my year here on Fort Drum, I've given many classes on CLS, which is a combat lifesaver, and it's extremely important for the people that I teach to be able to understand the steps that they need to go through to save a life on the battlefield. So again, I have to speak in front of large groups of people, giving a class, all the way from soldier just coming into the Army to captains and majors. I have to be able to speak well to them and to have them understand what I need them to understand to be able to save a life when it's really important. So I've gained confidence and the ability to teach and the ability to make myself known, to make myself clear in speeches that I give to people. As far as weaknesses, I do have a few, and I tend to wait till the last minute to prepare for a speech. I'm a horrible procrastinator, and it leaves me feeling ill-prepared to go into a speech. I go in with less material than I need, and if I spent more time practicing my speech, I would definitely feel better about it going into the speech and more confident in my material. The second thing is I gesture far too much, and it becomes a distraction. And what I can do to improve that is to gesture only when appropriate, use props when appropriate, and make sure that my gestures add emphasis to the speech and not detract from it. I can also not procrastinate and prepare for a speech a week prior, 2 weeks prior when I have the information, gather more material, and go through it again and again so that when I go into the speech, I'm prepared, I'm ready, I understand the material, and it's going to make me more comfortable as a speaker in front of a group. In conclusion, I do have experience giving speeches, and I'd like to build on that experience and become a stronger speech giver by taking more time in preparation and by limiting my gesturing and becoming more comfortable in front of people so that my gestures aren't a display of my unsureness or my nervousness. I'd like to sum up with a quote by Ben Johnson, who said, "To speak and to speak well are two things. A fool may talk, but a wise man speaks."